Hi, my name is Bintu Harwani, and in this video lecture, we'll understand how to track location of the user. That is, we will track the device location of the user regularly, and on the map, we'll show his location with a pinpoint, with a marker. And with regular interval, we'll be updating his device location on the map. So let us start with it. So in this lecture, we will learn how to track the user's device location. In the previous lecture, what we did is that we just enabled the My Location layer, right? And what that My Location layer was doing, it was displaying a button at the top right corner, and when you used to click on that button, the location of the device used to appear at the center of the Google map, right? But this time we won't be doing this. We will be continuously tracing the user's location, and the location of the user will be displayed on the Google map. So we'll open the same application that we created in that 14th lecture. If you haven't seen that video, I am providing you the link for that video. Please watch that video and you will be able to understand this lecture very well. Okay, so I am opening that app that we created in the last lecture. This is that, right? Now here we will add this code. If you remember that in the last lecture, we created the app which was based on Google Maps activity, and that automatically inserted this line com.google.android GMS Play Services Maps in the Gradle.build, right? Because this application is using the location services, we have to include this dependency com.google.android.gms play-services-location in the Gradle.build file. So copy this one. This is your app that we created in the last lecture, and here in the build.gradle, see, it already has this dependency. Can you see that? Here we need to paste this one. So this is required, right? So here we'll go, and how will you know which is the latest location service is available at the moment? So this is the link that will help you. See, can you see it here? This is the latest file. See, this one. Under this one, location and activity recognition. This category you will find this file, right? So this site, developers.google.com, will help you out in finding the latest dependency which might suit your application. So beside this, if you recall, in the manifest file we have this permission already, access_find_location, but we will be requiring these three more. So copy this one, and in your Android manifest file here we'll paste three more. That is your internet permission, network permission, and course location. See, for accessing the location, one is your GPS which is required, another is your network. Both are very helpful in finding the device location, right? And your app should be able to access the internet. So you need to have these applications, and it is better to have all the four permissions in almost all the Google Maps application, because map will be accessed from net, right? And if you happen to delete this permission, find_location, your app will still run, but with less precise locations, right? That is, with the less precision your app will run. Now recall this one. This one we executed in the last lecture to enable our My Location layer. If you recall it, this was the get location access method that we executed in the last lecture. It used to confirm whether my device location is enabled. Just for your reference, I am recalling what we did in the last lecture. This if block is just checking whether the access permission for my device location is allowed or not. If it is, this line is the main. This attribute, is my location enabled, this property is set to true to enable my location layer of the Google map. What are these two methods? We'll just understand it. And this else is doing what? If the user's device location is not enabled, if the access to the device location is not enabled, it will request the user to allow. So this else block will display a dialog box asking the user to allow the app to access the device location, and whether user allows or denies to access the device location, in both the cases this on request permission result method will be executed. And in this on request permission result method, there are these parameters: request code, this grant results, which is an array, right? And this permissions. So if the user allows to access the device location, this request code parameter will be set to 1. And recall that this is our class variable which we set to 1 here at the beginning. See this one, right? So if this request code is set to 1 and the grant results array contains the permission granted, that means the user has allowed to access the device location. In that case, you are invoking the get location access method again, which will enable this is my location enabled property to true. That is, it will enable my location layer, and hence will call these two functions. We'll understand about these two functions. But in case user has denied to access the device location, this activity will close. It will terminate, displaying a toast message that user has not granted to access the location. So this is something which we did in the last lecture, 14th lecture. Now let's come back to this lecture. The first thing that we'll do is that we are making an instance of this fused location provider client. Why is it so? See, first thing, all the previous APIs like location API, location manager, Google API, fused location API, all are deprecated and are no more used. The enhanced API, which is used very frequently to assess the locations, is the fused location provider client. Why? Because it wraps the GPS network, it senses your device location sensor, and it provides you methods to efficiently locate the device. It not only provides you the method to access the location, it enables you to specify the intervals in which you want to access the device location. It also enables you to define the preciseness of the location of the device, and also it has the methods to access the last location of the device. So the first thing that we have to do is that we have to create an instance of fused location provider client. Let me tell you that location service API is the heart of all this. Location services API along with the fused location provider client will be the focus of this lecture. So copy this in the maps activity here. Instance of fused location provider client is created, and we have to just copy this one also. We have to understand one more thing, that we have made a variable fused location client of this class, and we have also made two variables, location request and location callback. Why is it so? Why will they be required here? See, location request API, it will help in determining the intervals with which you want to access the device's location, right? So location request enables you to find the intervals. What is the location callback? This location callback will help you in retrieving the notifications when the device location is changed. So you have to define these three variables also at the beginning. This has already been there, right? So we'll copy these three variables and we'll paste it here at the top after this class variable. It's giving you error on location services. This thing, it is so because this Gradle, you copied this thing but you haven't synced the Gradle yet. So click on here. The moment it will be synced, that error will be gone. It's syncing here. See, Gradle sync has started. So let it sync. So the app will know that the location service dependency is included in the app. It is giving you certain errors here because it is asking you to import certain libraries. So click on import and the error will go. So after including this variables, we have to invoke these two lines also, these two functions. It will give you the error because these functions are not yet created. We have to copy this one also after this. When the permissions is allowed in the get location access, we have to, but here it will give you an error right now because the two functions are not yet defined. This is created, now these are the two functions, right? What are these two functions doing? We start with this thing. This we have already done. In order to request for location updates, our app must be connected to the location services and make the location request. We have to first create a instance of Fuse location provider client. This we've already done. After that, see, using the location request object, we have to set the interval for receiving the location updates. This you created the location request object. Using this interval property, using this set interval method, you are setting this value is in milliseconds. You are asking the location request that after every 30,000 milliseconds, that is after every 30 seconds, you want to check, you want to get the notification for the user device location. And this is the fastest interval. This is another property, and whichever is the smaller, like right now you've set its value to 20,000 milliseconds, whichever is smaller. So you are basically providing the shortest interval to get the location callback, right? And whichever is the smaller will be used for getting the location callback. So at the moment we are requesting for the location callback in every 20 seconds. Got it? And here, this is for highest accuracy. You want the most accurate location of the device. By setting this property, you're determining that you want the most accurate location of the device. Now, once you made the location request, you can get the updates of the location by calling the request location updates. This is this method, request location updates. Now the question is, why you want to invoke this method? See, we have to invoke this request location updates, and that is why you are invoking this method also, start location updates. Why you want to invoke this request location updates? Because the device location is accessible by invoking this method, on location result of location callback, right? It is by invoking this method that you get the latitude and longitude coordinates of the device location, right? But this on location result method can be only called if the location callback is registered with the location client using this request location update method. So you are registering your callback method, you are registering your location callback. So by invoking the request location update method, you are registering your location callback with the location client. And while calling this method, you are passing three parameters: location request, location callback, and null. Why is it so? Location request is for getting the device updates. Location callback is again for getting your location updates. But this looper object is used for determining whether you want the callback mechanism to be implemented on the message queue of this looper, or you want the current thread to be used for the callback mechanism. We have set this looper to null because we want the current thread to be used for this callback mechanism, right? In any case, your location callback is registered with the location client, and now we are ready to invoke this method, location result method, right? Now when this location result method of this location callback is invoked, it has this location result array. In this on location result method, you can see this location result. It contains a list of location objects. So you are checking if the locations in this location result are not empty. If it is not empty, you are accessing the last location of the device through this location result, and that is assigned to this location variable. So the last location of the device is assigned to this location variable. You are checking if it is not null. You are defining a variable let_lng. Obviously it is the variable which will store the latitude and longitude coordinate of the device. So you are invoking this method let_lng, and you are passing the device latitude and longitude values to it, which we have received from this location result parameter. Got it? And you are setting a marker, and you are supplying the latitude and longitude of the device to that marker. You are displaying that marker on the map, and you are animating the camera to that latitude and longitude with the zoom of 15 value. Recall from the last lecture we have seen that 15 zoom level is for the street level, right? So we have to copy these two methods, this one get location and this start location, and we'll copy it here. Anywhere you can copy it. Let's copy it here. Rest the program is exactly same like the last lecture. It is giving you an error here because obviously it needs to import this library. It's gone. To get the exact result, I'll connect my actual device to the computer to install the app on my device. You can see that here my device name has come, Xiaomi Redmi. So I'll run this app now here. To see what is happening on my device, I'll open the Logcat, and here it will get you the screen of my device. It is asking me whether you want to install this app on the device or not. So I've selected install. Remember that your net should be on the mobile also. Now my app is being installed on my device. See, this is the message I'm getting. See, whether to deny or you want to allow the app to access my device. I click on allow. See, it is showing my location on the phone. Can you see that? See, at the center, at the street level, right? So this app is working perfectly well. Don't worry about the code. The link for the code I am providing in the description box. If you understood the lecture well, please subscribe to my channel, share the video with your friends, and do write your comments. Thanks for watching the video. Have a nice day.